Welcome, 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 everybody. Of course, my name is Scott Royal Smith. I'm the owner of Royal Legal Solutions, your one-stop shop for everything tax, asset protection, and estate planning for real estate investors and entrepreneurs. Today, we're going to be talking about our year-end planning. It's in the end of the year. The end of the year has come upon us. And we have to make sure that we're covering off on all of the things that we should be doing. Do you have a checklist for all the things that you're covering off on at the end of the year? If you don't, guess what? You're in luck, especially if you're a Peace of Mind company, a Peace of Mind membership holder here at Royal Legal Solutions, because we hold the accountability for you as long as you meet with us to be able to do that. We do that with working with your account executives, which are our attorneys, and we have our process when you come into those meetings about making sure that you're covering off on all of the most important topics about cleaning up your estate planning, making sure that you have your end of year tax things that you need to do. What do you need to be thinking about with your LLCs? All of those important end of year topics. So if you're not a Peace of Mind member now, you're able to join up for that. Whether you do anything else with us or not, you're able to take advantage of being able to have that accountability as a Peace of Mind member. If you are currently a Peace of Mind member and you're like, hey, I need to schedule that time with my account executive to be able to go over this. This is a fantastic opportunity to do that. You should have links inside of your email inbox to do that. If you need support with how to get those links, then email us at support@royallegalsolutions.com. So that way we can go ahead and get you scheduled for those year-end meetings. So when we looked at what are the most important things for us that we cover off on here in the year end, you're going to see like in this quick episode that we're doing here, guys, it's meant to be high level representational of the kinds of things you need to be thinking about. When you get into your AE meeting as part of your Peace of Mind program, it will be in depth to what's going on with you in your particular circumstance. But we wanted to make sure to put out some information here for everybody of saying like, hey, what are the most important top of mind topics? So for me, I'm always thinking money. You know me, I'm a money guy, right? I'm always thinking about where's the money at. So top of mind for me is like what's going on at the end of the year is taxes and what are the moves that I have to make and the little bit of time here that I have for the rest of the year. And I'm typically thinking, what are the deductions that can be taken? And do I have everything set up for me to be able to funnel income into many of my retirement accounts where I think I might have extra income that I don't want to pay tax on? So in terms of the deductions, Megan, we're thinking through those. What are top of mind with the types of deductions that you're really thinking about wanting to make sure to cover off on before the end of the year?
So I think there's a couple things. You can always create new deductions this time of year. So you can be, purchasing vehicles. You can purchase business assets that would be a write-off. I think the other important piece of that too is just making sure you've got all the documentation ready for the assets and things you've already purchased. So, get your receipts together, start calculating that mileage to know how much you've had for this year related to the business. And are there any new assets you may need going into the new year? Do you need a new laptop? Is there something that is essential to you growing your business in 2022 that we can take hold of as a deduction in 2021? So I think, the big ones are going to be things like vehicles, office supplies, things like that. But you can also work with your CPA to identify if there's any type of like real property deductions we need to capitalize on, or any assets we need to move around to get them in a new location. But yes, I would say, it's a combination of getting everything cleaned up from the year that you've already done, and then looking at what tools are going to be essential for you moving forward that would add a lot of value to your business.
Awesome. Yeah. So when we talk about that, guys, when we're talking about like the types of deductions we're taking, of course, first thing to do is to look at how much income do I have here that I have in terms of my total taxable income. If that number is already zero because you already have it taken care of with the deductions you currently have and the depreciation things that you already have in place, then awesome. Then there's nothing else you need to do. But for those of us that have income that's going to be above that, then we have to start thinking about what are the extra deductions that I want to take. So just quick off, that's like the easiest things to do is like, what are stuff that I know I'm going to buy coming in here to 2022 that I want to go ahead and take those expenses on now to help me with my deductions now, right? So those are the things that Megan listed here. It's like, do I need or do I want to buy a company vehicle for you, right? There's different levels of how much you can spend on the company vehicles depending upon the size and the weight of those company vehicles you come through, right? So that's one thing you're going to want to look at. You're also going to want to look at other expenses like laptops or other type of technology, infrastructure, those types of business related items, right? That are going to allow us to be able to do depreciation on might be able to be like 100% write-off in year one, or it might be able to set you up for this year and in future years as well. We're also going to be looking at you also want to be looking at what are your retirement account capabilities, right? Retirement accounts are a great place to push that money. If you have the solo 401k, that's $58,000 that you could be sheltering from tax. If it's you and a spouse, it's $116,000 potentially that you can be sheltering from tax. So those retirement contributions are really great. If you're above that and you've already maxed out your solo 401ks because you're a high income earner, then we need, hopefully you've already set up a defined benefit plan to be able to help you there. If you know in 2022 that you're going to need more places to shelter income, then you want to start talking to us now about what does a defined benefit plan look like after you max out what you can do with your solo 401ks and IRAs that you have in place. Lastly, you can start to look at, making sure you're doing things like your home office deductions. Do you have that lined up? Do you know how much that is going to be now that you're working from home? Your home is part of a business, and then now you're able to take those home office deductions doing that. And lastly, the last great place I like to do it is shoveling money to my children or to like my nieces and nephews, right? I look at them and I'm like, all right, cool. Well, it looks like you did some work for me this year. That's probably worth $20,000. So I can go ahead and give them the money, and then it's at tax at their rate, at their income rate, instead of at my, unfortunately, much higher income and tax rate. That's one of the ways I help avoid paying taxes there. There's something we talked about here too that you can do in terms of your year end that might be coming up for people, is looking at being able to take the annual meeting for your company annual meeting and using that as an opportunity to be able to travel where you would want to travel while saying that and being able to legitimately claim that it was an annual meeting for your business. So some people will say like, well, that's the way I could take a vacation and have it be an annual meeting. Like, yes, yeah, but let's not say that too loud. This is actually a company meeting that we're doing and that happens to be in a place that we all like to be. So there's a couple of ways to do that if that's something that's come up for you. One of the ways to do it and to have it have the air of legitimacy that we're looking for is to schedule meetings with people that are there, right, at the location. Because then it's like, hey, I needed to fly out here because this is the place that I got to meet so-and-so, whether that's a banker or somebody in the real estate industry. Anybody that's a professional contact for you is going to say, great, now that's a business meeting. So if you schedule those business meetings in between like the times, right? If it's like on a Friday and you have another meeting that's on Monday, well, guess what? You're there for the whole weekend as well too. Now the whole thing is also a business write-off from that context. So whether you want to schedule it and try to say, this is our annual meeting of our LLC and we're doing formal business there, like ratifying our minutes and having our annual meeting in this location. No, that's one way to get there, to be able to write off those travel expense and other expenses that go on there. Another way to do it is to schedule meetings with professionals that are located in that area and then sandwich in your time that otherwise you're on that weekend, or otherwise sandwich in that time. So that way it's like, well, I needed to be here for this purpose, right? To be able to do that. When we talk about our LLC, so we've handled our taxes now, we're briefed up on like, here's the top level how we're going to do our taxes. When we're thinking about our LLCs, is there anything here at the end of the year, Megan, that we need to be thinking about in terms of our LLCs?
Yeah, so there's a couple things that are going to be coming up for your LLCs. One, there's going to be the franchise tax filing forms that are coming up more towards April. So that needs to be on your radar. Now, if you are a Piece of Life family member, office member, that's something we're going to help you take care of. If not, let us know. Let us get in contact with you, help you walk you through that process, or get you signed up for a Piece of Life program, so you don't have to worry about that. You're also going to have some annual filings depending on where, in addition to the franchise tax fee, depending on where you're at. And then, I think one of the other important pieces that doesn't necessarily get discussed because it's not a mandatory filing, though, is the end of year is a good time to look back and say, have my business partners changed? Have I made any substantial changes to my business that need to be reflected in my operating agreement? Now, sometimes that does require a filing with the Secretary of State, depending on what state you're in, if you do need to update it. But so you've got these mandatory filings that are coming up first quarter of the year for the most part. But then you've also got these internal items that you want to clean up that LLC when you go into the next year. So if a lender or a third party needs a copy of those documents, they're up to date and it's not going to delay your business dealings.
Awesome. Yeah, so looking guys here for a year end, think about like your yearly LLC minutes. Think about cleaning up anything that's changed inside of your business, any side that's changed inside of your business partnerships with those LLCs. Also thinking about any assets or anything else that you've acquired, and have you moved those into the LLC structures as well too, right? We need to have everything inside of your asset holding company for your estate planning to work. Remember, if it's not an asset that's either directly titled into the name of the living trust, right, or held in an asset holding company that's owned by the living trust, then it's not part of your estate plan, which means it has to go through probate court, get exposed on the public record, have people try to steal it from you by claiming that you owe them money, and all kinds of fun stuff that happens to you that's very, very bad there. So we'll want to make sure to have everything cleaned up in terms of assets moving inside of your asset holding company here at the year end for your LLCs. But don't worry about your franchise tax reports or public information reports. Those should be covered off for you if you are a corporate compliance member. Otherwise, I'll keep on the lookout for those if you're not a corporate compliance member for your LLCs, because you will need to file that LLC paperwork here at the year end. So, and brief recap here, guys, the most important thing, as Megan said, and I've been telling you, is to sign up for your Peace of Mind program. So that way we can help you with taking the deep dives of making sure that you're covering off on all of the most important things to be doing like throughout the year and here at the year end. If you're catching yourself in a place of like, oh man, I wish I would have done better tax planning, or man, I wish I would have, and you look back at this year, well, that's because you're not a Peace of Mind member. If you're a Peace of Mind member, we hold the accountability for you to make sure that you are covering off on the most important things, and you're thinking about all of the strategic plays that you need to be making throughout the year and connecting you throughout the year appropriately with that, as well as covering off on things on here on the year end. So I highly encourage everybody to sign up for our Peace of Mind program so we can help you with holding that kind of accountability and keeping you connected. If you're not, then please pay attention to our emails that we have coming out to help notify and remind everybody about the really important matters that they need to be covering off on. So that way, we all know, we're all meeting about it to be able to discuss what are the most important things we need to be doing here. So sign up for that Peace of Mind program, or if you're a Peace of Mind member right now, go ahead and email us at support@royallegalsolutions.com. We'll go ahead and get your questions answered, or your meetings, help you get those meetings set with your account executive or attorney to be able to support you with covering off on these areas. Thank you, guys.